My friends, I have criticized, and you've heard me criticize the long-haired macdaddy, swiftfoot, two-timing, Japheth, vice president of the lower region of hell and head citizen, Justin Trudeau, for a long time. I mean, I've criticized this guy up and down, left, right, and center. I have told him off and just rubbished this guy from the moment he set his mackin' foot in the Prime Minister's office. But he has made a decision as of yesterday, which is perhaps the dumbest decision that he has ever made ever since he allowed knives to be brought on planes, on domestic planes and most international flights. Or the time he gave $10 million to a terrorist who killed two soldiers. Apart from those two decisions, this decision to pay $4.5 billion for a pipeline and spend another boatload of money to build a pipeline when Kinder Morgan would have built it for free. This is perhaps the dumbest decision that the long-haired macdaddy, two-timing citizen of the lower region of hell, Justin Trudeau, has done. Now, the reason he's doing this, my friends, is because he is afraid that Kinder Morgan would back out of building this pipeline because it's taking so long. Because in British Columbia, you've got this fool named John Horgan who is stalling and who's trying to give trouble and who's trying to delay the project getting built. But what you have to understand is that anybody with a brain would know that the macdaddy is Prime Minister and John Horgan is nothing more than a premier. So if the macdaddy truly wants this pipeline to be built, he can get it built. All he needs to do is go to Parliament or talk to his friends in the Supreme Court, who are his friends. Many of them, many people in the upper echelons of government, whether in the law sector or whatever, they knew his father. He could talk to those mini macdaddies that he's got in the government, and he could say, "Look, we got to get this done." He could go into Parliament, get legislation through. He's got a majority, and tell John Horgan to shut up and go back to his yard. Tell him to shut up. Put some legislation in there. Just say, this is going to get built. No, you shut up and get out of here. You shut up, John Horgan. You shut up with your fool self. You shut up. But he didn't do that because he is a weak leader. And he has now I think the macdaddy choked by making this decision. He has now decided to use our tax dollars, $4.5 billion from our taxes. Many Canadians who don't even support the building of this pipeline, they are being forced to pay to buy this pipeline and probably spend more to build it when Kinder Morgan would have built the pipeline for free. If the macdaddy had any balls, he would have gone to Parliament, gotten some legislation, created some law, created some order, whatever, and gotten the thing passed. And he could have shoved that in John Horgan's fool face and said, shut up, John. Shut up, John Horgan. Shut up, John Horgan. That's what he could have said. But you see, this is the thing. The macdaddy's weak. And that's why I say anybody who is against a carbon tax, all you got to do is vote for Doug Ford, vote for Jason Kenney, and keep Scott Moe in Saskatchewan. And 3 against this weak macdaddy, they'll tear him up because he's so weak. That's why. But let's get back to this. Now, some people are probably going to say, well, he said he would buy it back and that would give us more money. He'll sell it back. He's just buying it so he could build it and he will sell it back. What you talk about, Michael? He's going to sell it back and he'll make even more money. Well, there are 2 things I have to say on that. Yes, the macdaddy did say that he would sell the pipeline once it's completed to whoever, and it would make money, and he would make that money back. 3 things I have to say, actually. Number 1, this smells like Saudi Arabia is going to get the pipeline. This is what it sounds. This is what it looks like. That's the first thing I gotta say. Get that out of the way. It looks. This smells like Saudi Arabia is about to get a big, beautiful asset. Saudi Arabia, or he's probably going to sell it to them, or he's going to sell it to Venezuela, and that's going to be just disgusting if he does that. It looks like that's what he might do. It's my instinct. My instinct is usually right. That's what he could do. Number two, I don't trust the government with any of these transactions. I don't trust them. People might not remember. I was not born when this happened, but I do read a lot that back in the 80s, the Rogers Centre in Toronto used to be the Toronto Sky Dome, or sometime in the 80s, or maybe the 90s, I can't remember, sometime. It used to be publicly owned. And quite rightly, the government decided to privatize it. But the problem that they did was that they sold it for much less than it was worth. So that's what I don't trust the government when it comes to business. The government, especially liberal governments, and that was a liberal government that made that decision about the Sky Dome, actually. It was either Peterson or it was one of them. I don't know. But I don't trust the government when it comes to these things. Next thing you know, the macdaddy with his weak self decides to sell it because he's desperate, and when he gets desperate, as you can see, he chokes. He sells it for less than it's worth. And that's another thing. So that's the second point. The third point, which is more important, the most important, is that this pipeline might not even be able to be sold. And the reason why is simple. And I'm going to read an article from Calgary Sun, which says that investors will see too much problems with this pipeline. They will look at this thing and they say, you know what? There is too much drama. There's too much melodrama with this. You got that fool organ. You see that fool organ over there? You see all them natives over there? I mean, I don't want to have anything to do with this. I don't want to have anything to do with this. Thanks, but no thanks, MacDaddy. I don't want to buy this thing from you. You think I want to put up with no organ and them natives? I don't think so. Next thing, some radical protester decides to tear up the pipeline, mash it up, tear it up, and we have to. I don't think so. I ain't dealing with you, crazy Canadian. So let me read this article here. It says the Canadian federal government will likely have a difficult time selling the Trans Mountain Pipeline system it purchased for $4.5 billion on Tuesday until it can show the risks to the project have been reduced. The federal government announced a deal with Houston-based Kinder Morgan Incorporated to purchase the existing Trans Mountain Pipeline between Alberta and British Columbia, as well as the expansion project to twin the pipeline before markets opened Tuesday, and Finance Minister Bill Morneau said Ottawa did not intend to be a long-term owner. And there's actually a poll right here which says, do you support Canada's purchase of the Trans Mountain Pipeline? I'm going to click no. And I just voted just now. I know you did that. You must be out of your damn mind. 52% say no, by the way. But analysts believe Ottawa will need to provide the same financial indemnity it offered to Kinder Morgan to any potential buyer for the pipeline before it can sell it. Those guarantees are still going to be required, in my opinion, said Canaccord Genuity analyst David Gallison, who added that British Columbia's opposition to the project would continue to pose a threat to the construction. So that's the thing. You see, he bought this project because he was afraid Kinder Morgan would say, forget you crazy Canucks. I'm out. We've gone. You Canucks can't handle your business. I mean, we're gone. We'll take our pipeline elsewhere, and y'all can whatever. And so that's why he bought it. But the thing is that you can say, oh, well, now the problem is solved. It's solved now. But that doesn't mean the pipeline will get built any quicker unless the macdaddy grows some balls, some stones. It's not going to get built until he fights Horgan. He has to say, hey, you shut the hell up, Horgan. You shut up, Horgan. Shut up. Shut up. shut up. I'm going to get all of your MPs together in the House of Commons, create legislation to stop Horgan, vote on it. You got a majority, whip all of the MPs to vote in favor, and get the thing built for free. That's what he should have done, but now he's bought it, so that's out of the way. Now he needs to grow balls so that this thing can be fixed. That's the problem. That's why he bought it. And here's what really disturbs me. You've got many Canadians out there who are against this pipeline for whatever reason. I don't know how they think they're going to fly or drive or, things like that. I mean, they say, okay, well, wind and all this. I mean, they're against it. That's the thing. They're against it. And probably some of them are watching it right now. And before you start cussing me out for telling off Horgan, telling him to shut up, before you start cussing me off with your left-wing self, before you start cussing me out, just think you need to... I'm actually partly on your side, because you, as a taxpayer, if you work, you probably don't work, but if you work, you are being forced to pay for something that you don't want. And you're not paying it to anybody. You're paying it to Kinder Morgan, which isn't even a Canadian company. It's a Texas-based company. You're paying $4.5 billion of your taxes to a Texas-based company. I don't even know why they let this foreign company build this thing in the first place. Should have asked TransCanada to build it or something. I mean, I don't know. Okay, they have Kinder Morgan Canada, and they create jobs. Okay, so fair enough. So that's fine. But they're walking all the way to the bank right now with our money. They're gone now. They're putting that money in Bank of America and whatever bank that they use. They're gone. That's it. And it's not going. It's done. And I don't think that we are going to get our money back. I think either the macdaddy is not going to be able to find a buyer when he's ready to sell it, or he's going to sell it at a loss because he's just too damn stupid and desperate. That's what I think is going to happen. We're not getting that money back. We're not seeing that money back. We're not seeing that money back. I don't care what Notley says. I don't care what the macdaddy says. I don't care what Bill Morneau says. We're not seeing that money again. So this is a crown corporation. It's been nationalized. $4.5 billion. I don't even know if it's worth that amount of money. $4.5 billion being given to a bunch of bureaucrats when they offer to build the damn thing for free. This is the mess that we're in. So this is the kind of person that you lefties voted in, all because he offered free weed. Which, I mean, at some point you gotta kind of say, he serves you right. I mean, many of these left-wing voters, many Canadian voters in general, they're so shallow with making their decisions on who to vote for. They care about what weed and free stuff and all this things, and they don't look at the core of the man or the woman who they're voting for. You voted in a moron. And now $4.5 billion, which we don't have, which means that we're even more in debt, goes to a bunch of rich Texans, and we're not going to see that money again, I don't think. All because the macdaddy is a moron with no balls. So there's where you are. This is the Iran nation, and the Iran nation will continue to bash this long-haired macdaddy who you fools elected.